What's going on? This is your man Terance J, and welcome to another edition of Toxic is the New Masculinity. To my right, I got my man KY. To my left, I got my man Bossy. Toxic is New Masculinity. I know a lot of people hear the title and they start looking like, what the hell are these guys talking about? But toxic is a term that was given to us and saying that everything we do is toxic. You know, our masculinity. Our masculinity, our movements, our thoughts are all toxic. And we're like, no, they're not. You just have to understand which way we're coming from. Are there some things that people do that is not conducive for good relationships and just being good people? True, but that happens on both sides. But it seems like all of our masculinity and everything we do as men, when men used to be celebrated for like actually being a man, now they cool with you not being a man, if you know what I mean. So the thing is, toxic is new masculinity is just a conversation
Simpson
have men have that we can just sit there and tell you that everything we do is not toxic. So welcome to Toxic is the New Masculinity. What's happening, fellas?
Not much, man. Not much. Hey, draft coming up.
Draft is coming up, man. I was at the draft last year. I'm not gonna make it this year, but shout out to everybody going out to Detroit.
You got picked?
Huh?
You got picked?
No, I was out there covering the draft, man. I was out there covering the people that getting picked. But you know, man, a lot of times we have conversations just amongst ourselves, group chat and everything else. And one of the topics came up that was just talking about like even submission. And so I know KY, you were talking about you know, westernized mindset versus people in other countries, right? And so, you know, what you were kind of tiptoeing on was more so on what a group that has been known as and called the passport bros. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but if you go to TikTok, yo, women are killing these guys call themselves the passport bros, telling them that they cannot get a woman here, so they have to go to some third world country,
Venezuela,
to go get a
Brazil.
woman. Yeah.
I mean,
competition's high.
Dominican Republic.
Hey, you can say what you want to.
Listen, I mean, you can't say what you want, but I'm gonna tell you, for what men look for, because what I do hear. I do hear that a lot of women say, you know, you guys are going to get these third world, you know, uneducated women, all these women who are dumb, they're docile, they have no wherewithal, which I have found that in a lot of cases, in a lot of different countries, you know, that moniker on all these women across the world is not true. I mean, there's a lot of them. They have schools, they have jobs, they have careers, they have this. But they were saying that a lot of guys go over there to get those.
No, you real talk, because I'm doing that. But I tell you, like, I don't have that many experiences. But when I hear black women talk about how soft and docile that white women are, them wasn't the ones I dated. You know what I'm saying? I didn't find them. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I was like, where these pools of soft white women at that I missed when I was in college?
Hey, now, it's one thing they missing, though.
What's that?
They're feminine.
So what I was going to say
They're
was,
ladies.
What I was going to say was, when you start talking about they're uneducated, they're dumb, they're this and that, well, you are directly missing the first thing that catches men's eye.
Exactly.
One is aesthetics.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we don't give a damn what you know till we know what you look like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Real
and
talk.
so then
Personalities don't show up on pictures.
they do not show up on pictures.
And
So the thing is, you know, it's like, now I'll find out if I like your personality or if you're smart or intelligent or even evil after I find out what you look like.
Hey, if you give my friends, I don't give about your doctorate degree.
Listen,
you can still be a hole.
I'm being
I have heard this before.
Real talk. You got to be presentable for me to find out all that. You have to be. I'm just being honest.
You have to be.
Yeah. And ladies in the chat, you can go and say, well, y'all don't look all that good. I'm cool with that.
I'm just about to say that.
That's just not going to stop my opinion.
Yeah.
What they say? They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So here's the thing. I might not be everybody's cup of tea.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. On the spectrum, I ain't at the bottom.
Right,
Okay?
right.
And then here's the thing. On top of that, been in a position to where I'm not struggling on the finance side, which puts me at another level, right?
Absolutely.
So when that comes into play, you keep throwing about these women are dumb. And some guys are saying, but they're nice. And they're saying these women are stupid. And some guys are saying
let me
they're
stop
feminine.
you there. They're not dumb.
No, I understand that.
I'm talking about for the women we're talking about.
But that's why I'm giving the contrast.
I'm pouring that in because I've dealt with that one-on-one.
Well, because the thing is that when you just give a blanket statement to a group of women,
right?
You know, because that's what we get accused of, right?
Right.
Saying all women this, all women that.
It's not a cookie cutter.
It's not a cookie cutter, but you hear that. Oh, those women are dumb. Those women are third world. They looking for a way to get to America. Now, here's the thing. To be honest, there are a lot of women that are looking to find their way to America and get with guys and things like that.
Right.
So that happens.
Right. And I'll tell you why on that too.
But I think what some men, I'm not gonna say all of the men because I understand there are some dudes that I'm like, hey bro, y'all need to go on overseas because y'all ain't getting nothing here because y'all ain't got shit working for you. Those guys exist.
Yeah.
But I think guys are saying, hey, you know what? Why contain myself to this border?
Right.
And I think that's where the issue is at. It's like, and when people are seeing people go outside to say, I'm just gonna go around the world looking.
Right.
And it's like, hey, what about me here? Well, I was here first. Yeah. And you didn't do what it took to not make me look outside.
Right.
And so I think that's where a lot of times people are saying, if I'm single and I'm free and I got the finances to go places, why not?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here is something that I was actually listening to a gentleman. I don't want to give him any public recognition by saying his name, but if most of you watch alternative type TV, you'll figure out who I'm talking about. But there was a gentleman, he's a Jewish gentleman, probably in his late 40s. I think he went to Harvard. He sits on a podcast like this, highly intelligent man. And he's to the extreme right for the most part, right? Mm-hmm. And he has no problem saying the things about us, right, that people of his color want to hear, right? He has no qualms about that, right? And one of the things I heard him say, and I'm going to bring it to this point, he brought up, and then ladies, this is a myth, trust me it is, because he's very good at saying things knowing people haven't researched it, so they'll take what he says at face value. He's very good at obfuscating the facts. Very good at that, right? So he was going on the old myth about 70% of African American, 70% of kids are raised in the homes without a father, by women, right? And ladies, that's not true. Trust me, that was based on the information or article that a gentleman who looks like him wrote years ago on his review of a story that went on in the New York Times. But I digress, right? So I want to stay on there to say, well, how does this turn into submission? Well, the fact really remains that first of all, that what he said, he's talking about single mothers like raising kids, presenting the illusion without saying that the fathers are not involved, right? Which is not true. You know what I mean? When you say there are black women raising single boys without a father in the home, right? I'm one of those kids. Like, you know me and my father, we boys. That's my dog, right? I just didn't grow up with him. So my mother would have been a single mother in the home with the kid, but my father was heavily involved in my life. Right? But that's beside the point. But when you look at the wealth gap, the wealth disparity between black men and black women are far closer than any other race in the United States. In other words, so there was a time where black women were looking for a lot of support from black men. But now they're more educated than they ever been. They open more business than they ever had. They have more money than they ever had. And the gap between, on a medium gap between black men and black women are pretty much the same. Now, we talked about earlier, remember we were talking about how money plays a difference, and when women get to the point where they feel that they even making more than you or as much as you, the idea of respecting you tends to go by the wayside. Extremely quickly.
I got the power.
Even to the point where now they're like, I don't need you to raise a kid
Yeah.
I can have it on mine. I just need you to make one.
Well, you got women out there say, just give me a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can even look at the rate of single black fathers has been raising since 2009.
Yeah.
Sisters having kids, like, okay, you take care of them. I'm going to go out and get my bag.
Yeah.
And I'm ladies, please understand what I'm saying. I'm not making disparaging remarks. I'm just telling you the result of your success. You often eliminate that which helps you build, which can help you build the wealth, which is us. You start looking at us more like competition,
right,
versus a mate. You start looking at us as not a need, but a insignificant necessity for the most part. So when brothers are sitting around trying to make ideas or decide on wives, and it's like, why do I need to put up with all that? If I can go to Venezuela and get me a hottie who still values me and respect me as a dude, I gotta put up with all this now.
So you know what you got? You don't have women. You don't have a woman. You got a man woman. And when I say
do
man,
do that.
Do that, yeah. Because what you got now I got a woman who's more like a man to me
You got
than
a
a woman.
she-male.
Yeah. And here's the deal. We know as men, now, if you want to come at me like a dude, now my testosterone level goes up. I'm not looking at you. You're not feminine to me no more.
So what about?
I'm not attracted to that.
But what about the women that say, well, if I'm going out here having to work every day, then how do you expect me to still be in my, they call soft girl era or soft life era or whatever? What do you say to them when they are having to go out and work also alone?
This is what I'll say.
Let me say, okay. Well, quit asking me to be soft. You want me to soften up. I'm working just like you working.
Yeah, you want me to,
but
be
you want
tender.
me to soften up.
You want me to be attentive. You want me to
right.
Acknowledge your feelings.
Right.
You don't want me to solve your problem. You want me to counsel and listen to your problem. So he's absolutely right. That's quite a double standard there, right? She is going to use the excuse, well, I'm doing all this stuff, and I'm running a company. Yeah, right. I'm your companion. I'm not your company.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me is a very, very sorry excuse, right? Because anything, if you're running a company, and just tell ladies, if you're in a leadership role, right?
Yeah,
you should be, as a great leader, more the part of willing to listen and provide a solution than arguing your point.
Wait. I will say this, because a lot of the terminology that is out now when it comes to women on top
Mm-hmm.
companies, they usually don't use the word leader.
Exactly right.
Bosses. And bosses don't listen.
But you know what?
Shout out to bosses.
Man,
hey.
Bossy, not bossy.
Hey, but listen to this. You're not a very good boss either. You know why?
Why?
Because if I want to be a boss, I don't want to be the one that got to be there to run the company every day. A very good boss, you know what? I know how to dictate. I know how to give people a position and run my company. The deal is, and as African Americans, everybody wants to say, I got my own business. You know what? I want a business where I'm making money while I'm asleep.
No, what is not a business? You created a job for yourself.
Right, but you created a job that you're a slave to. So get this. If I don't want to have to go to work and run a company every day. I got to be there, have meetings every day, do this. I want to walk in and I want to have my soldiers there. When I come in, hey man, where we at? Hey, we're here. I say, okay, let me look at the portfolio. Okay, we're good. All right, cool.
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate goal for everybody. Well, what I'm saying is, but
because that job doesn't exist.
Well, some do, right? Some do,
right?
And what I'm saying is, the ultimate total idea is to get to that point. But to the point I was making. And what I wanted to piggyback with you on was you saying, if they have the opportunity to say that I can't be soft,
right?
Then you're saying if this is what you've been doing and this is what you built to do, then that means you have the ability to say that you can't be soft too. Is that what you're saying? As far stop asking you to be soft?
Well, you trying to flip the role on me. You want me to soften up and be soft like you.
That's what he's saying.
Right, you're trying to flip the role.
Yeah,
you're flipping the role on me. And that's the whole.
Yeah, she doesn't have the right to ask you to be soft.
Right.
And then the same token saying she can't be
because
she's taking on your role. Yeah,
I'm not
right. Absolutely, 100%.
But I'm gonna flip back to you. You know, you want to talk about foreign women because I was in the military, and I'm gonna tell you something. When we would leave and go over, we call it a 6-pack. You know, 6 months we out of the country. When we came back to America, it was such a culture shock dealing with American women. It took us a while to readjust our minds to dealing with American women.
Okay. So what was the contrast?
The contrast was when I'm over in another country, I'm respected, I'm valued as a man, and it's shown. It's you know, I don't have to tongue wrestle with you. You know what? Yeah. I got this big thing right here. You want me to be this quote Superman, but you want to give me the last piece of you at the end of the day. I get the last piece of you. Your boss gets the best of you. I get the last of you. You come home telling me you tired. The boss, you tell your boss, you come to work and say, "Hey, boss, I'm tired today. I don't feel like dealing with you today."
But you know what though, KY?
Yeah.
To that, I'm telling you what they will say.
What's that?
Stop letting this other man be the boss of me. Allow you to be the boss of me.
Women gonna say that?
But you have to.
No, what I'm saying is, take me out of having to go and be somebody else's worker, and allow me to stay either home and work with and for you.
Okay. And now, if you do that, now, the things you value, the things you want, the dreams you want, the goals you want, that comes down.
No, well, hold on. I hear what you're saying, right? Let me address both of those points, right? So T, you're absolutely right. She could come back and say, "Well, listen, I am working, right? I am working with this guy, you know, this boss, right, for us to keep a certain standard of living, right? If you don't want me to keep that first standard of living, and you want me to quit my job, all right, and come under you, right, then you need to raise the bar, and however you want to say, financially or whatever." My point back to her would be this. That's the whole covering of being a help me. Because if you would stop arguing with me versus encouraging me.
It would say something.
If you would speak to me with knowledge,
absolutely,
versus know-it-all, right?
Yes.
Right? If you were able to come together with me, right, and design a plan and execute the plan versus giving me information where you don't have experience, then I could elevate, because then we're a team.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You want to quit your job at the company and become my internal competition.
Yes.
That's never going to work.
So I'm going to show you what that looks like overseas. Basically what he's saying, overseas, an overseas woman, say you came home, say you had your podcast business, business going, and you said, "Man, I hit a bump in the road. You know, man, this, I don't know, this will work." American woman sounds like this. "Hey, I told you shouldn't have done that anyway. I don't know why you was doing it anyway.
Right.
You know we wasn't making no money. We've been spending more money on this." That's A. B. Overseas woman, "Poppy, it's okay. We will make it. We will make this work." The encouragement is there. Yeah. American women take away the encouragement. They will beat you up harder than the outside world sometimes. I open that, when you out that world, when we walk on that street as men and we get beat up, heck, we open the door and go in the house and get beat up worse than why you think we out in the street, ladies?
Yeah.
Because we ain't getting beat up as much in the street as we do at home. But you want me to come home and you want me to be this man, "Hey, baby, how you doing?"
And you know what? I jump on this because you guys know I have no problem praising my wife at all, right?
Right.
But you said something that made me think. My wife just had her 45th birthday 2 weeks ago. Shout out to you, baby, right? She's getting 45.
No cake, no nothing.
Because it was her birthday party, all right?
Hey, sis, we like cake too. Hey, wait. We like cake too, sis.
He just told us she don't like us.
That's not what I said. See, now you get off female. What we saying what I didn't say. No, but real talk. So she had, and this is kind of the point that you got to lose. So she had a gathering, right, of people who were very close to her, primarily females, right? So people were going down the table talking about what she meant to them, right?
Right.
And I heard this, and I didn't say nothing, but I heard this a few times about women who were single, right? Talking to her, basically saying, well, not even basically, some of them said, you great, you wonderful, you all this, and I can't wait till I meet my bossy, me. Like, I want to do like him, right?
Right.
Because I spoil my wife. I do.
Right.
But what people miss out at, I don't spoil her, right? Because she's, you know how like she's a queen and she's all this, and you know this is how you're supposed to treat your woman from the feminist aspect.
Right.
I spoil my wife because how she is to me.
Right.
All right.
Right.
I give her everything she wants because and my wife by no means is a docile woman. Don't get it twisted. She's not even close to that.
Right.
But my wife understands respect, help, and information. My wife provides me with information, not an argument. My wife will tell me, hey, babe, you tried it this way. Have you ever thought about this? It's not. You are so stupid. I told you. You know what? Sidebar, this just popped to me. This is my wife in a nutshell. In a nutshell. Me and her went to Chicago one time, right? I had my bag. You know, I carried my life in my backpack. We had a backpack. I had my backpack. My wife was telling me, like, when we was coming back, she was like, hey, babe, let's not catch the train, right? Let's, like, pull up the car, drop it off so we don't be late. I'm like, no, we got it. I got this. We got it, right? Told her, I know everything. We got it, right? She was right? And the whole time I was fussing at her, right? No, I'm telling you, this is the way we do. She was right. We were late. Missed the flight. I said to my wife, babe, you was right, I was wrong. My wife said to me, don't even worry about it. Long as we get home, that's all that matters.
Man, beautiful. Beautiful.
That's it.
And what I've heard ladies say is, I mean, and I'm talking about ladies as far as women who are intent on creating a harmonious situation with their husband, right? Is that to be a woman and be a wife is to be in that position to know that my husband might be wrong right now, but I'm still going to trust him. Right? Because I have to trust his leadership. I have to trust his guidance. I have to trust that he's making decisions not to harm us. You ultimately thought that was the best decision.
Right.
She stated her point. You knew so much what her point was is why you could come back and apologize. You heard it. You just took it, ran it through your computer, but she still said, hey, it's okay. You know why? You know why it was okay? Because you came back and said, hey, you were right. I heard you, but I still had to make the decision.
Hey, that goes back to the subject. It was a safe place. It was a safe place.
I was literally about to say that because I know some in the audience be like, well, if my man were like that, and I'm saying, but that's the point. She has always allowed me a place to be.
Right.
That's my bad. My fault.
That's that same
I was wrong.
So on one of my other shows, I was talking, and I said this, and of course, I had some weak ass men who wanted to side.
One more thing. And my wife wasn't born in the country, so that may she wasn't born here, so that may have something to do with it. No, I'm playing.
Point made.
And before you women make an assumption, yes, she is black.
What'd you say? But she wasn't born here.
She wasn't born here. She was not born here.
And so what I said was, and you know, and these guys came in on me because they wanted to side with my female co-host, right? But I said for men, a lot of times the way we fix something, we got to break it first. You can tell us all day long, but y'all had different toys growing up that you looked at that so long you said, I need to know how this works. Which means that there's going to be some destruction in our path. But the reason we do that is you cannot put that in front of us again and us not know how it works. We don't like being dumb to a fact of how something works because we understand this could come up again. So the way our mind works, your wife was allowing you to do this. I guarantee you the next time it's going to even be more consideration on what she's saying. Still does not mean.
Right, absolutely.
Still does not mean I'm going to do what you say, but there's going to be more consideration. And you know what women want to, you know what women ultimately want to be?
What's that?
Heard.
Right.
She knew you heard her, right?
Yeah.
She said, he heard me. And was mad enough to come back and be like, my bad. I heard you. But, and it wasn't that her decision, but it wasn't that what she was saying didn't make sense. You just thought this other way might have been
absolutely, yeah.
So that goes, that boomerang's back to,
what, that his wife wasn't born here?
No, that part too. But y'all remember the young lady I met in Memphis? I told you about the book she's writing about the generational curse. It goes back to that. So you gotta understand, third world women, these outside women, their mothers don't raise them. You don't disrespect a man. They're not raised that way. Here in the States, mothers, it's generations of mothers talk. Your daddy ain't this. Your daddy ain't that.
Because that's what I'm saying. It's competition, not companionship.
Well, and that carries on.
Yeah.
On and on. It's to the point now. Let me tell you something. If I dropped an American woman off in the third world country, she wouldn't last a week. That entitlement, that fly mile.
She'll probably get beat down.
She'll be like the lady in Dubai from Houston. In jail.
And you know what? It's the power structure flips. You know, they say, well, you know, these women are docile, these women done. They don't do. Well, men just run off. You know what? What do you think you're doing to men over here? You're doing the same thing you're saying men are doing to those women over there. You're doing it to us over here. Because you feel like you have power, you have entitlement. So you know what? You just flip the script and you're doing it to us. The same thing you don't want done to you, you're doing it to us.
And you know, here's the ironic. This reminds me of...
and the law is not on your side either. Because over there, you can't do it.
You can't.
There's consequences and repercussions.
Yeah, it is,
This conversation reminds me to your point, right, of what's being done, how men is just being emasculated over here. Is that, was it... This is YouTube, the video you showed of The View, when they took a poll of women and said that men are unnecessary, and men came back. I think we talked about this before, but yeah, it's like the thought process, to me, it is fascinating. The female mind, to me, is fascinating, because in that poll, whatever poll they took on The View, right, there were women who said that women don't need men.
Right.
There were women in that audience who was applauding the fact that these women were talking about not needing men. But when you talk to women about the destruction of the black family, what's the first thing they say? The father's not in the house.
Well, you don't need it.
So that's the first thing. Well, the black men would take care of their responsibilities. So see, this is a bossy mind thing. Bossy mind thinks like this. Okay, you're the female. You want to be the leader. You will tell us how dumb we are, which means you're smart.
Right.
And you keep choosing all these black men who don't know how to take care of their responsibilities. What did he say to you to make that you think he was responsible, educated, well off, and would take care of you? Because you chose to lay down with this dude.
Yeah.
But
now you talking about accountability.
Yes, but you, and I was trying not to say the A-word.
You talking about accountability.
But you're smarter than them. Now here's the bigger point. You're so much smarter than them, right, that you're talking about the problem with the generation that's being raised now is because black fathers are not in the house, but they're being, this generation of men you talking about are being raised by you.
And
so
you know
really
what?
Is the problem
let me step on that. Y'all give me a minute to step on that, because here's the problem. Women, quit dating your sons, please. Quit dating your son.
Or your daddy. Or trying to date your daddy. Trying to find your daddy.
And you talking about these men soft, you making them soft. A very good point. Because you know what? They can't make a mistake. You do everything for them.
You're there to rescue them.
Yeah. If he fall down, are you all right?
Yeah.
You did. I said, but you want him to be tough. You want him to be this. You want him to be masculine. You're raising a woman. You telling a little boy that you the man of the house, and he's sitting on the couch playing PlayStation. So that's what a man of the house looks. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what. I'm putting this together with a picture in my head as a young kid. Oh, I sit on the couch, I play PlayStation, and my woman, who is my mother, fixes my plate for me. And when I screw up and do something, she's gonna come to the rescue, and she's gonna fuss at whoever who, hey, you don't talk to my kid like that. You don't do this. You don't do that.
Exactly.
But
What do I need to defend?
I don't
What do I
have
need to
You know
defend?
what? So all my, everything in life, you know what? I'm gonna be all right because she gonna take care of it.
Hey, when you was coaching the Jets, how many times did we see? I'm sorry, this little league team.
Yeah.
How many times did we see playing football? A kid get hit and hurt, and the mom don't be hitting my kid.
Oh yeah.
So if he on the football field, oh shoot, I ain't gotta retaliate. My mama's there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mama's there.
Mama's
So you
there.
know what? And you know what's crazy? Women who raise girls don't even raise them to be feminine. They
Gotta
dog
raise
it.
the
They
independent.
dog them out.
Oh, they rough
It's
on
crazy
girls. They
how
are rough
a
on
woman
girls.
will treat a girl, her daughter, like a dude, and treat the dude like a girl.
So I'm gonna tell you, and this is a personal story, with even KY, even with his son. KY was saying, and he told me, he said, I put a lot in that boy. I want to see if he can fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mother was saying, well, how about we keep him? He said, do you know how much we invested? So what I'm saying this to where this is a conversation me and him had when he was like, I'm pushing because he got a safety net here.
Right.
He can always come back here.
Right.
I need to see if his wings are strong enough.
Right.
And
Right.
remember, I told you,
Yeah.
I said, the mother bird pushes the babies out of the nest.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know why? Because if the mother creates a situation that's comfortable, the babies will never learn to fly.
Exactly.
And so what happens is, it's not until mama make this nest uncomfortable
Yeah.
that the baby's gonna go.
Oh,
and
right.
so even for me personally, so my mom sold me her house. Well, I was gonna do some renovations to it. So when she sold it, I was a realtor at the time. I found her house. She bought that one. I moved in with her so I can work on this one. I'm slow playing this thing. I'm laying in the house with mama. My dad, who raised me, we grew up, I have a full-time dad. Every day we talk. Hey, son, when you going to your house? Dad, I got this to do, put carpet, whatever. On and on and on. He would always ask me, when are you going? Now, one day, my mom said, so when you going to your house? I blew up. Oh, you don't want me here? I got a house. Listen, let me get my stuff now. Gathered all my stuff. I'm hot because mama put me out.
Yeah.
Now, daddy has been saying, son, when you going to go to your house?
Yeah.
Right. Good
You know,
point. Good point.
When she said that, I did it. I went to my house. I sat there for 5 minutes and I said, because my mom sold me the house for what she owed on it, not for what it was worth. So that was her way of creating legacy by saying, I'm gonna give you a head start. So she's saying, you're sitting here with me, not even taking advantage of what I created for you.
Right.
Real
And
talk.
so, but guess what? No, my dad right now, I run every decision by my dad.
Right.
So that's how close we are.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, that's
He
beautiful,
couldn't
man.
say nothing.
That's a beautiful thing.
He couldn't say nothing to
Yeah.
get me out of mama's house. He was man to man talking to me. Yeah, whatever.
Oh, well, no.
It's
no.
plush here.
Yeah.
It's plush.
Yeah.
Mom said, she just said, when you gonna go to your house? Man, I grabbed everything. I was so upset. But all I'm saying is, ladies, you have to understand, you create the atmosphere that sometimes allows these boys to get so lax, even in a house with a man.
Right.
When that man says, hey, this is what this boy need to do. And I'll say this real quick. There was somebody who stood up on the Steve Harvey show one time, and she said, Steve, my husband, he too rough on the kids. He this, he that, he this. And Steve looked at the woman and said, is that the man you married? She said, yeah. Is that the man you want your sons to be? Yeah. Well, move out of his way and allow him to do what he has been done to him to create the very man you thought was good enough to marry. And I thought that was so poignant because you can't fight me to even do my role as a father. And too many times I even see with the girls, the boys, the father says, I don't want that lipstick, I don't want this dress, I don't want that. That's cute. Let her wear that. Listen, I know what's out there. I'm here for a reason. Don't fight me when I've been a father. What you say that we not fathers, we're not in the house, we're not involved. The minute we say, no, she can't get them nails, why you got to be like that? And so don't fight me on that.
More, what's even worse is if you're stepping in a place where there's a woman and a child and there isn't a father, and now she wants to hold you hostage when you try to discipline her child.
Yeah.
Like when he needs clothes, it's our kid. When he needs a roof, it's our kid. When he needs a car to get to school, it's our kid. But the moment you jump in his chest and being disrespectful, don't talk to my child like that.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you know what? That's a funny thing. Wait a minute. That's my. They said my child. My child. Oh, so you, hey, you screwed yourself, gave yourself birth.
Hey, you know you don't matter.
Yeah, right.
You know what my boy say? He said a man works all his life to build a house, only for the grandkids to say, "We headed to grandma's house."
I'm gonna put this out there. And I had a partner, DJ Just Born, shout out. He said, "Hey man, check this out, ladies. I got a PlayStation. I got over 400 channels of DirecTV, cable, however you want to put it. I got a meal cook when I come home. I don't have to pay no electrical bills. It's plush. Why would I want to leave? Why would I leave that environment?" Now, we grew up in the era, I couldn't wait to get out of the house. I came home one time after college, ain't been back since.
Nah, I stayed till I was 27.
Oh, okay. Well,
Listen.
Let me put something on it, like kind of what you were saying, right? Because I have two brothers. One unfortunately passed away, but I had two brothers, right? Mm-hmm. My mother raised us all under the same rules, but my mother was extremely protective. Mm-hmm. My oldest brother, like I'm the youngest, I'm 56. My oldest brother is 12 years older than me, the one that passed away. The next one's 8, right? So he's 64 right now. He's the middle one, right? I made the decision to leave my mom's house. My oldest brother made the decision to leave my mother's house. My middle brother is still, now my mom passed away last year, he's still in her house. Because my mother fussed that he was there, complained that he was there, but she never would put him out. Never.
So she created a situation where he don't know how to operate outside of that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When my mom passed away, it was most devastating to him because in 63 years of his life,
that's what
she's always been there.
Listen, let me tell you something.
That's a crippling effect.
When you see the people act the biggest fool at a funeral, those are usually the people who don't know how to live without that person.
Exactly.
And so you're looking, and I've seen it. I was like, the bum of the family is crying the hardest. Let's be real. Oh, no! Well, the rest of us got houses and kids and careers.
Man,
your ass still asking mama for money in the drive her car.
Listen, just sentimental, but I just put it out there to make your point, right? When my mother passed away last year, she had a massive stroke. One of the hardest decisions of our family life was how is she going to live the rest of her life, right? Because she couldn't. She could not. She was basically a vegetable. So you had to make that decision, right? There was me, my sister, my brother, my niece, my wife, somebody else, 6 of us. Only one person was like, no, leave her on there. And guess who that was? My brother.
And because in his head, she's going to come back to be able to take care of him.
Yes.
And everybody else was taking care of themselves.
Exactly.
And so and I think as we were talking about,
my daughter. That's who the other person. My daughter was there.
And we were talking about the submissive side, the being able to have the cohesiveness unit in the house, not fight each other. I think when you are looking at what is now created as the passport bros and people are looking outside, I think because not so much that people were looking for somebody to quote unquote run over, they were looking for something different. And usually when somebody looks for something different, it's because they are looking at a situation saying something about this is not satisfactory.
Right.
You said, and when you came back dealing with Americanized women was different. Now I will say this a little pushback on that. When you were overseas in the military, you had a level of stature. that same level of stature here might have got you somewhat of the same type of attention.
Hell no.
You've been in the military, don't give you stature in America. You've been an American man in the military.
You in the Marine Corps. Oh, you crazy as hell.
That's what he's saying.
That's the statue I got.
Yeah, you were a American military man, which means you had American dollars in their eyes. You had the stature, and you had a level of prestige. Now take that over on this side of the water, and somebody who is known as, you got billboards up as the attorney, or you the top dentist of this area, or professional sports, or something like that. The level of prestige. Now we understand that whatever you perceive me to have should not be indicative on how you treat me.
Yeah.
Right.
So with that being said, all we're saying is the same level of respect sometimes that you're asking to be given, you got to give also.
So I'm gonna say this.
But I'm sorry, just real quick. He does make a valid point, right? Because when you go, like, I have never. I guess this is just how God works. I have never been to Brazil. I never have. Right.
Right.
The time I was going to go for the first time, right, was we were talking about a fellows trip. It was literally 2 months, like, say, I met my wife in May, right? Me and a couple of fellas had talked about in February to go to Brazil in July. So when I met my wife, I can't go. Like, this one, I'm not going, right?
Right.
But it was ironic when they were telling me about the trip, and I often hear about guys going to Brazil, to T's point. $150,000. If I told you I made $150,000 a year, ain't nobody in America generally going to be impressed with that.
Right.
But let me go to Brazil making $150,000 a year.
Right.
I might as well be sitting next to the king over there.
Right.
And them women over there, they know that. They know that.
And I guess
so when you go to the Marines,
but I was a little different. When we went places, I would befriend somebody from the country, and I would always have a conversation with them. And understand, what's your culture like. I'm a very curious person. Understanding knowledge is something I always like. Get me off the beaten path. What is it? What's going on? Now, don't get me wrong. When we pull up on that ship, it's dollar signs. Half of these are prostitutes. Hey, when I leave here, if I get $200 out for every Marine, I get $200 out. It's a come up for them over there. Yeah. So don't get it twisted, ladies.
And that $200 a day dollars, because that's like 12.
But on the average, I'm talking about as a structured society over there, it's totally different. And let me tell you something. In Proverbs, you get more with honey than vinegar. And I'm not gonna call her name out, but it was a lady at work. She was upset because her husband wasn't doing this. I work all day, I come home, this ain't done. I said, well, does he know? He said, no, he should already know. I said, let me finish. He should already know. I said, really? I said, so he can read your mind then, huh? He said, no, but he see it. I said, you know what? First of all, he's not informed. Second of all, be careful how you do inform him. I said, but try this for me. And I put a steak dinner on it. And I said, we can go to Perry's. I don't care where we go. But let's approach him with honey and see how it comes out. So let me speed up the story. So she goes, I saw her in the hall. I said, what? She was laughing. She said, it worked. She just started, she said, work. I can't believe it. I said, how'd you do it? He said, well, I had the opportunity, we always sit and look at TV, you want to hold hands when you look at TV. So he's holding hands, and he said, hey, you know what? If you could fold them clothes in the dryer and get those clothes done, we would have more me time, and we could hang out on Saturday, we could do this. I said, we could have some good time together. She said that chair went down, she heard the dryer going, shit was going on clean. He said, hey, he was tired. She's like, I couldn't believe what just happened.
Yeah, not to put it up there, but you made me laugh. Wifey, it ain't even that kind of talk. Wifey be like, baby, you so big and strong. She said, "Go, just go lift the clothes and put them in the dryer." What?
Hey,
Like, look,
we
walk like,
It's all in the way you talk.
It's like grandma go tell granddad, hey, she come out with some cold Kool-Aid, say granddad can sure build a house.
Yeah.
He done put a whole new house on the back end.
A house I had a whole block. What?
Hey, she done pumped his head. So,
I'm telling you.
all I'm saying is,
Look, and don't come ask me a favor in bikini and like button up shirt. Oh Lord.
Hey, say baby,
Man, look.
baby, as soon as you get that finished, I'll be back here. I'm really not even tired. Like, shit, what?
It's all possible.
Hey, so all I'm saying, instead of putting a pin in the balloon, how about inflating the balloon? Pump your man up. Pump him up.
It works.
It works.
It works. It
Put
really
your
works.
pride aside and use some honey.
Yeah, and you know what? And be genuine when you do it too.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. Even though, because we just pulling back the covers off it, even though you're doing it in, I don't want to use the word manipulative because that's a bad. No, what I'm saying is most people. Watch this. Most people take it as a negative connotation. What we're telling you is it's okay to manipulate us.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Listen.
Yes.
I'm gonna tell you it because
now manipulation is
not in that way.
Be careful.
Not in that way.
Because you can manipulate me. You can say, hey,
that's not what we mean.
That's not what we talking about.
I'm saying it like this. You can say, you know what, Mama not tired tonight. If you go ahead and knock out the car.
No.
Hey, and when I come in.
But you know what I said. Be genuine with it.
Yeah, be genuine.
But understand the tactics that work with us.
Right.
Because here's the thing. We generally respond to kindness.
Oh man, that was just on the top of my head.
We generally respond to kindness.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you, you can be places, different cultures, different races, and get kindness, and it blows your mind.
Absolutely.
Right? And so the thing is, I've known people who have went from like all black high schools to all white colleges, and had the conversation like, I didn't experience that. I said, well, what was that? And they was like, yo, dude, they so kind. Now here's the thing.
Ooh, I got something to tell you on that.
Here's the thing. We understand that the racial history of America, right? We understand that everybody smile at you, don't like you.
Right.
But sometimes it's like, you know what? Your ass might be able to you might be able to do me in the door if you smile at me. Because that's how much I'm longing for that smile, that kindness.
It goes back to what I said, because generally, I mean, and I don't want to get the sisters get mad. I'm not going to sit and tell you that white women are easier. I'm not going to sit and tell you that. Cultural differences are cultural differences, right? However, we tend to have most of our competition with you, ladies. You tend to be our biggest competition. I heard a brother say, I'm agreeing with the concept. He didn't push the facts, but he said, the number one soldier in the white man's army is the black female, which will make her our biggest enemy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because he said he can use her to manipulate us.
Right.
You know what I mean? And again, I'm not getting into racial anything disparity. That's why I'm not going to go too much in it. My larger point was, if anybody can make you our enemy, they know it weakens us. So when you're walking around here telling us black men ain't SHIT, black men are stupid, we don't need them, you know what I mean? Black men can't do X, Y, Z, right? It's like I once had a discussion with a very aggressive young lady, and I told her, I go to the barbershop to argue, right? I go to the barbershop to make my point. I don't want the barbershop in my house.
Right.
Other words, I go to the barbershop to talk to dudes. I don't need a dude in my crib.
Boy.
You know what I mean?
Preach.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, it goes back.
That's what I had here.
Yeah, it goes back. I think women don't know how to be feminine no more. They just don't know.
And you know what? I'm gonna close it out with this. A lot of times
And before you close it out, it's not what between your legs that make you feminine.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this.
But it helps.
A lot of times,
It's a start,
but you're born with that.
But they drive that. They think what's between their legs, and we talked about this. That's what's feminine. That's the controlling factor.
Yeah.
Us. Let me tell you something. I'm putting game down on this. You can spread your legs out you want to, and wake up and be a bitch in the morning. I'll take kindness before what's between your legs.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this. The thing is that when we talk about the feminine aspect,
Right.
A lot of times it's touted all these other things have taken us out of our femininity, right?
Right.
And my pushback on that all the time is, so give me one thing that can take me out of my masculine and you be okay with it.
Yeah, that's a mic drop to me.
And it ain't.
It ain't.
Because
Right.
anything that happens when you see that I'm not masculine, you discard me.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You won't allow me to tell you, well, this makes me out of my masculine and more feminine. This makes me more. You won't allow that at all.
Right.
But you tell me there's a whole list of things that take you out of it. So what I'm telling you is there is nothing out here that can take you out of what you are. You can allow yourself to be taken, or you can make the
Right.
decision to
Right.
be out of one era into another era.
Right.
But don't blame anybody else, because that is lack of accountability. And this is Toxic is the New Masculinity. We will see you guys on the next episode. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.